Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer 3029-6-640 double-acting hinge. The 3029 means the series of hinge that it is. This is, in my opinion, in my experience, the most common of double-acting spring hinges that you would see on restaurant doors between the kitchen and the dining room. The 6 means that it's a 6-inch size, and I'll get into that a bit more in a moment. The 640 means that it's in the oil-rubbed bronze finish. You can see it's quite dark. That would be oil-rubbed bronze. That'd be indicative of oil-rubbed bronze. So again, the 3029 is the series. The 6 means the size. It's a 6-inch hinge. And where that's measured, and I'll just show it just for the sake of conversation, it's from here to here, and you can see that the dimension from basically the top of this leaf to the bottom of this leaf is 6-inch, but that's really, in my experience, really the less important in terms of knowing what size hinge you need to use for an application, whether it's new or replacing an existing hinge. And what is more important is the door thickness. This 3029-6 will handle doors from 1.25 to 1.75 thick. And the 3029-6, 6-inch, is most common because most of your double-acting doors in a restaurant application, at least here in Chicago with the restaurants, the family-style restaurants around here, would be 1.75 thick. So you'd need a 6-inch hinge. So if you're going to be replacing one of these, I wouldn't get into measuring anything as much as how thick is the door, and then that's going to determine where you have to be at in terms of a hinge. If you had an 1.5-inch thick door, while the 6-inch would still work based on Bommer's guidelines, you'd probably use a 5-inch hinge. Although the weight of the door has a lot to do with it as well. Generally, installations that I see with this hinge installed is 3 hinges, and that's also what Bommer recommends. You'd have one at the top and obviously one at the bottom, but then the third hinge Bommer recommends, and my actual experience would concur, that you want the third hinge as close to the top hinge as possible, because all of the weight, all of the force of the door as it's going through its in and out swinging cycle is up at the top. That's where all the mechanics are happening. There's a link to the template here, and that's something that's extremely important to look at, especially if this is a new installation. And what I'm talking about is how much you need to undercut the door in the width, how much you need to pre-fit the door in the width to fit into the frame. If you have a installation where it's a single door and you are installing it onto a frame, a wood frame, you need to undercut or pre-fit the door in the width a specific dimension. Bommer shows that you can either mortise this leaf or not. I generally see it not mortised, non-mortised leaf, door leaf, which would mean your pre-fit would be a 1/2 inch. So if your frame is 36-inch, your inside dimension of your frame, you're going to want the actual door width to be 35.5. If this door flange is mortised, your pre-fit will be 7/16. So your actual door width will be 35 and 9/16 is how actually is how wide the door would actually be. Square edge, don't bevel the edges of the doors. You'll have problems if you've got a beveled edge when the door tries to go in and out of its cycle. The template also shows the breakdown for if you have a pair of doors, 2 doors that swing in and out, and I won't bother to go through the math because it's all right here. These hinges, I'll show you a demonstration of how the leaves look. So this is the frame leaf, this portion, and it's kind of hard to see. So this is the back side. You would attach this leaf to the jamb, okay? And this is the leaf that mortises, that attaches to the edge of the door. So you'd screw through here because you're going to the edge of the door. This hinge includes all of the wood screws, which would be a number 12 by 1.25 inches. You get 10 of them. Okay. It's going to include a tension rod, which is just a piece of steel, and then 2 set pins. And I'll show you how that works. To set the spring tension, you would do it on both sides. That's why you need the 2. You'll get 2 set pins, and you're going to basically crank the spring in the direction of the arrow. Okay. Be important to install both of your hinges with the same side being up or down. You crank this over 1 or 2 times, and then you insert your pin into this hole, and then when you release it, that pin will hold the tension on the spring. If you want greater tension, turn it over more, remove your pin, and set it even tighter. One nice thing about having 3 hinges versus 2 is based on the guidelines of the weight that Bommer is talking about. The tension on the springs will be less if you're spreading that out over 3 hinges versus only 2. The guidelines for the weight of the door should be followed. The door height, 7 foot, is typical. 2 hinges, Bommer says a 75-pound door is the max that you should consider going. Heavier than that, up to 107 pounds, add that 3rd hinge. The width also is very important of your door. If you've got a 2'8" door or something in that range, 2 hinges, a 3-foot door, which is probably more common, 2 hinges for the 2'8", 3 hinges for the 3-foot door. These hinges are expensive because they are they're heavy duty, they're long lasting, they're American made. Oil rub bronze finish is always more expensive. So the point of the matter is, better off having 3 for a long installation rather than 2, or the other logic is buy 2, and if you find that you need the 3rd, add the 3rd later. But they're very common hinge to be used in those sorts of applications. If you have any questions on the Bommer 39-6-640 hinge or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.